The other side of the coin, of course, is building advocacy and influence. And again, some businesses are sort of starting out the process. What should businesses and brands be doing to, if you like, increase the advocacy and influence that they have in terms of social media? What steps should they take to do that?
I think it's important to understand who is engaging with your brand. You can see who is following you on Twitter, who's liking you on Facebook, for example. And what you can do is you can see who of these people are retweeting our messages, or who are talking about us, who are mentioning us, and what are their relative kind of influence. Do they have 15 followers or 150 followers, etc. And one example, which is a great case study, I think, is it's an American online clothes retailer, and they want fashion bloggers. There's a lot of fashion bloggers out there to write about them, and they didn't know how do we get them to write about us. Well, turns out the fashion bloggers have a problem because they're so small. They don't get access to catwalk shows, or they're not invited to go to big parties or whatever. They don't get to get samples sent home to them, which is the benefit of a big retailer or a big publisher. They get access to sort of the next, I don't know, line of clothes being produced by this certain brand. So what they did is that they sort of recognized those issues and said, hey guys, we're going to fly you to our office in New York, from wherever you're based in the world, and we are going to have you select whatever clothes you wanted to get sent to you but you couldn't get, sent to us instead, because we are much bigger, we're much more important to the supplier. They will comply with our request, and we'll let you wear those clothes and take pictures with that clothes. They have professional photographers joining these people. They had makeup artists. So they gave the bloggers a chance almost to be like a star for a day by giving them the things they so much desired but couldn't get access to. And what happens is you have 50 or 100 people experiencing that for a day or two. They're kind of working in groups, and it's quite an efficient schedule, being then sort of spread back into the world, and from all these different places are talking about this brand retailer, how great they are and how cool they are and what they're doing for us. And I think you start small, identify who are talking about you, what can you do for them, what would get them excited, what can they not do themselves. See if you can, with your relatively larger size, leverage your presence and give them something they couldn't do themselves. I think that's a great case study illustrating how you do that. But yeah, definitely engage with them and have something deeper than just an online conversation.
And small businesses could do that as well, couldn't they? Restaurants and things like that.
Absolutely, yeah. Products. I mean, there's a local, where I live, an Indian restaurant in Covent Garden called The Dish Room, and I mentioned them in a blog post. Great restaurant, by the way, you should check it out. Mentioned them in a blog post, and then they added me on this list, and a couple of months later they invited me to come and taste the new menu. Yeah. So they get a bunch of people that, for one reason or another, loyal customers, bloggers, people that have mentioned them in the past online, to come and try what's coming up. And it was a great way for me to connect with fellow food lovers and neighbors I hadn't met before that had an interest in Indian food. And it was a great way for them to give back to me, because I got a chance to got some free food out of it, but also I got to try some new exciting dishes, of which half of it will never see a menu, but I felt privileged for having a chance to try it. So I think that's a very small local business doing something very proactive, and didn't fly people in, they didn't get big corporates to sponsor them with products, etc. Very informal, which was great.